It all starts on this rock where we come from. A seed is planted into dry dirt between nasty sharp rocks. There, where you didn't expect it, life grows. And as life matures, it flies away to become something different. The seed that once was becomes a celebration of creativity as it matures. Creativity because of the copious amounts of sea, sand, and sun that surrounds us. Diverse because of all the cultures mixed with its life. In the last couple of decades, these seeds have been digitally fertilized, and they have spread further and further. Our Curaçaoan seeds have rooted in the Netherlands and in the United States of America. Less is known that you can also find them across other borders, as Denmark, Malta, or even all the way in Australia. They come in so many shapes and sizes that they are often unrecognized. And as we cross more borders, we easily mix with all other cultures. Our international friends discovered the life of digital nomads. But we, the ones that have been born with these overseas connections on this rock, don't know better than to enjoy these connections that are good for friendships, but also very good for doing business. During this year, we all saw the proof of how important being digital can be. We are overcoming a pandemic, and the protests against inequality has never been louder. But today, we celebrate our Flag Day, our flag, our people, and our ladies. Feliz Dia de Bandera. Today, we have three women in business: Vanessa Abad, Diana Rose, and Rianne Cicilia. They will tell their stories and how they get to work across borders. Let's see if you can notice a similarity. My co-host today also deserves to be mentioned. She is Renate Mathos. She doesn't want to be called a teacher, but she is for sure an educator that works across borders. She is a typical facilitator. Renate was a former speaker at Innovation C and is one of her celebrated ambassadors. She is the owner of 26 Consultancy and a creative consultant at Two Tone Amsterdam. Renate, can you please come on stage? To everyone else, welcome and being in our chat today. I would like to ask you to take a moment and turn off your devices, the sounds, so we can really focus on the presentations that these ladies are going to give us. Hi, Renata. How are you doing?
Hi, Annie. I'm good. What an amazing introduction. Hello, everybody. I hope everyone is having a good flag day. If you're happy, if you're here, make sure you write down something in the chats, but also make sure you're giving the people that will be presenting some love.
Absolutely. Before we are going to continue with our next speaker, I would love for everyone that's here to tell me how they are celebrating Flag Day, if they're doing something special, if the flag has a specific meaning to them. Um, for me, the flag has always been my pride when living in Holland or in Spain. Wherever I was, seeing our flag, our two stars, and that yellow stripe, and of course the beautiful blue dark color always filled me with pride. How about you, Renate?
I love our flag. I don't know what it is. I think it's the colors, as you said, the blue color, the yellow, and the white. But it just makes me happy. And if I think about our flag, I always think about how they fold it at the end of the day or just seeing it in the wind. So I have to say, I'm so proud to be from Curaçao.
Same here. Today I read a beautiful post on Facebook. I should have written it down so I could share it with you. Um, but they explained how our flag was chosen, and seeing most flags that are around there in the world, I think our flag is very unique because it's only 30 plus years old and it's really been chosen by our people. So
Do you remember what other flag we had before this one?
the flag of the Netherlands Antilles,
That
the
is
white,
true. Yes.
the red and the blue, and the 6 stars, and then 5 stars because Aruba left us,
Mm-hmm.
and then we got our own flag. So and then Bonaire got our own flag. We all got our own flags.
That is true indeed.
I'm gonna ask Vanessa to come on stage so we can introduce Vanessa. Vanessa, are you there? When you're ready, please come on stage with us. To everyone there that's just hopping on, welcome, welcome, welcome. Please share with us how you're sharing, how you're spending your Dia di Bandera. Vanessa, how are you? How are you feeling?
Good. Buon tardi. Happy Flag Day, everybody.
Bondari,
I'm feeling
Vanessa.
good. A little nervous, but good.
Well, most people might know Vanessa from Soup at Nest, where she's serving soup. Or what many people don't know, that Vanessa is a fantastic writer, and today she's going to be sharing more about how she came to that writing. Is there is there anything there that we don't know about you that you're going to share with us?
There's a lot that you don't know about me, and I'm gonna share some other things that you don't know about me either. So
Cool. We're going to give you the stage so you can introduce yourself to the people, and we'll see you back in the end. If there's anything, I'll jump on stage to help you out. So, Renata, I'll talk to you in a bit.
I'll see you later.
Vanessa, good luck.
thank you, Buntari, everyone. Just a second, let me get my presentation for you. Yes, this is our beautiful flag. Like I said, happy Flag Day, everyone. I would like to take a few seconds to explain the colors of our flag for the ones that are not familiar with it. Well, the yellow ribbon represents the beautiful sun that shines above our island. The blue colors are the sky and the ocean surrounding our island. And the two stars are the big star is Curaçao, the small star is Klein Curaçao. And recently I've learned that those two stars stand for love and happiness as well. So I thought that was a nice detail to mention also. And today I'm going to talk to you. This is, by the way, the first time that I have a presentation in English and about myself. So I'm a little nervous, but I'm going to do my best. I'm going to tell you guys why I keep on writing on and on and on. And of course, I would like to thank Innovation C for this opportunity, for this virtual stage that they're granting me to tell my story, and that they believed in my story so I can share it with you guys today. I'm going to start with this quote. This quote was printed on a piece of paper, and it hung on my dorm, in my student dorm for a few years when I was studying in Rotterdam. And it says, "It's never too late to be what you could have been." Actually, I had it written in Dutch. Het is nooit te laat om te worden wat je had kunnen zijn. This quote gave me a whole lot of strength when I was in school, because not every time everything went the way I wanted to go. So I want to share this with you guys. And actually, if you whatever you see today in my presentation, feel free to take screenshots. If something resonates with you, please take screenshots. So maybe it could be useful afterwards. So let me introduce myself. I got my hair different today. My name is Vanessa Abad. I'm 40 years. I'm the founder and owner of Ride On. I'm born in Curaçao. I'm partially raised in Amsterdam, partially raised here in Curaçao. I graduated in Rotterdam. And actually, before I graduated, I was so lucky to get a job as a counselor at the gemeente Rotterdam. And when I returned back to Curaçao in 2013, luck was still on my side, because I had the chance to be the first management assistant of the board and the president, the back then president from the Joint Court of Justice, het gemeenschappelijk Hof van Justitie, from our islands. And I'm also the founder and owner from Soup at Nest. For the ones that don't know Soup at Nest is a small soup pop-up restaurant that I use to plant positive seeds in the minds of our community by offering healthy soups at a reasonable price, because nowadays if something healthy, you must have money, and I'm kind of against that. I did this by showing people that you can do stuff together and stand stronger. I granted a stage for local artists, because I believe that we have to acknowledge much more how rich we are, our island. I support local farmers as well, in order to show how rich we are also. And all of this while banning plastic, because I'm in opinion that our island has too much roaming plastic. So I'm against that. To be or not to be a lawyer. Well, this has to do with the quote that I showed you just now. Because in Rotterdam, when I was studying law, I wanted to be a lawyer. I think I would have been a very good one. But while living in the Netherlands and also here in Curaçao, I got the chance to work as a secretary at a few law firms. I worked at the Joint Court of Justice also as a management assistant. And I got sued a few times also. And after these moments, I decided like, okay, I understand that the law is important, but it's not the way I want to make my money. It's not what I want to do every day. So I was wondering, what is it that that I find important in the law? Because I think it's important to get your right. But I've learned during the years that not every time you are right, you get your right also. In Dutch, they say, het recht is soms krom, and I agree. And I've noticed that for me, it is very important to say what you really mean. So that is the thing that triggers me, to say what you really mean or to write down what you really mean. So I'm gonna take you guys in my journey. I'm gonna tell my story, try to tell my story in a nutshell. My school time was a hell time. If I had to be judged by our society, I'd probably be judged as a fail. Because I went to a primary school, St. Albertus College, which is Cura di Arte right now. And at primary school, everybody could have sworn that I would go to HAVO. But at the last year, I disappointed everyone and I went to MAVO. I went to MAVO Monsignor Zwijzen College. The first 3 years were a little so-so, but the last year I messed up again and I failed the last year. I really wanted to get to Peter Stuyvesant College. If there are people from PSC, say woot woot in the chat. PSC was actually a very nice time, but I did not do my best. So I had to do the 4th grade over in PSC. I did not pass the last year either. I still don't have my HAVO diploma. But since all of my friends were going to the Netherlands already to study, I decided to go as well because, yeah, what are you going to stay to do in Curaçao, I thought. So I went to the Netherlands to an MBO, of course, because I did not have a HAVO diploma. But I managed to talk myself into a 1-year MBO because MBOs are usually 4 years. So I did that, graduated from the MBO. That's the first time actually that I graduated right away. And then I got to HBO, which they called in Holland university afterwards. I was so happy they called it university because then I could say that I go to university, but you were not really going to university. But anyway, the society makes you crazy sometimes. But so I went to in Holland university, I graduated, I have my Bachelor of Law eventually, and I'm very thankful for that. And it was in my actually the last 2 years. My graduation year was kind of an enlightenment year for me. But in the last 2 years, we had to write all kinds of reports. We had to write action plans. We had to write personal development plans, POP, persoonlijk ontwikkelingsplan, communication plans. And for all these assignments, the assignments that we were getting, we must have written an action plan. And then I started to notice that every time I had an assignment and I implemented the action plan, the results were always right. So that's when something started to change in my way of looking at things in life, school results, but everything in life. So I started to plan everything that I had, like difficulties with my dorm was a mess always. So I started to write an action plan to how to clean my dorm. I had an action plan for my grocery list. I wrote an action plan when returning back to Curaçao. I wrote an action plan to quit my job at the Joint Court of Justice. It's the first time in my life that I got a permanent contract at the Hof van Justitie. Everybody declared me crazy, but I quit my job because I really want to do what I feel that I have to do. I made an action plan for to start right on to run Soup at Nest. So if I write something down, I consider it done because I cannot forget it anymore, you know? So that works. And while doing this, I've came to notice that I can control my mind because I think I'm not alone if I say that our minds can have like a crazy world of its own. And I've come to notice that when I write stuff down, I feel more confident. I feel calm. I can remember that someone asked me, if you do Soup at Nest all by yourself, how come you're so calm? And I write everything down, you know, per day, I schedule everything. So, and when you have everything written down, then you're on top of things, and then you don't have a reason to be nervous about situations. So it helps you to structure things. It helps me to separate my emotions from the facts. Please take a screenshot if you think this is important information. I think it's important information, but if it resonates to you too also. And when I write stuff down, I can decide better what I really want to say. You know, when you start chatting and, you know, how many times we get in a situation and a few minutes after or days after, we say, man, I wish I said that, or I wish I said that. So that's why it's very important to write stuff down, think about it, you know? And yeah, last but not least, it creates instant space, and instant space is freedom, you know? And who wouldn't want freedom, you know? And when you have space in your head, you have space to let energy, fresh ideas, love flow. So yeah, I think I would support that. And I want to share this with you today. This is a feel-good hack. This is what I do when I have a situation and I don't really feel like discussing it with someone, or maybe you're not able to discuss it with someone because you cannot see them at the time. You can always, if you have a funny situation, you can always write down these 4 questions and answer them for yourself. Very important it is to keep it real with yourself. You know, don't go make things up and say how you want to feel. But you know, and there's nobody there. It's just you, the piece of paper, and the pen. So nobody will judge you but yourself. But you know, keep it real and take it easy with yourself. How do I feel? How do I feel? Then really write down, how do you feel? Are you mad? Are you sad? Are you disappointed? You know, write it down. Why do you feel this way? Or why do I feel this way? You feel this way because you expected something to happen, or you worked hard and something did not, you know? Just define it as detailed as possible for yourself. What was my contribution to this? Did you react too quick, or didn't you react at all? Or did you react in a disrespectful way, or whatever? Think about it and keep it real and write it down and think about it. And this is a very important one. What can I do to make me feel better? And this doesn't have to cost any money. This is it is very important to understand what are the things you like and the things that make you feel better that doesn't cost anything. You know, like if you have a dog, go play with your dog. Those are small things that make me feel better. If you love nature, go walk in nature, go take a swim. If you like music, turn on the radio, put your favorite song, dance to it. I don't know. Do something that makes you feel better. It works every time, I promise. If you keep it real with yourself, it works every time. I hope you guys took at least or a screenshot or wrote these 4 questions down, because for me they were life-changing questions. And this is the last slide of my presentation. So I am Right On. I'm Vanessa from Right On, and these are my services. I am a ghostwriter. People ask me sometimes, what do you do? What is your portfolio? But sometimes it's difficult. I write a whole lot of letters, corporate letters for people, and I cannot show them to you. So that's a little difficult, but I do also web copywriting, web content for websites. I love to help people brainstorm about their businesses and help them to write their business plans. And I am a virtual assistant in the broad sense, from small researches online to marketing projects. Everything that I don't know, I'll just figure it out. So yeah, bring it on. This was my presentation. I hope that I inspired at least one of you today. And thank you for this time. And good luck to the other ladies.
It's done, Vanessa. You can scream now. I mean, you were a little bit nervous about your. I'm gonna leave your last slide a little bit there so people can write your email and things like that,
Oh,
and
I
just so
forgot to
people
say
know.
something. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
If you're on Facebook, like my page, or if you're on LinkedIn, let's connect. If you have something to share, or if you just have a comment and you want to connect, please send me an email, give me a call, send me a message on the social media, and we'll connect. I always react within 24 hours, always.
And what's up, Captain Coconut? I can't see your real name, so I'm gonna go with the Coconut. I
Oh, that's a
love the
friend of
vibe.
mine. Woo!
I just shared your LinkedIn in the box. Renata, can you also come on stage, please? You're my co-host. Where are you at? You were very nervous to go on stage. Not so much to do the presentation because you got that, but for the English mostly, and you did it so fine. So my applause was not so much for your presentation, although it was very good, but it was for how you dealt with your English. So um, yeah.
It was so good, Vanessa. I loved it. And if I could just ask one question, one quick
Sure.
question.
Sure.
I love how you make an action plan for everything. So asking for the people in the chats, just kidding. Asking for myself, how could I make an action plan for something I'm struggling with, for example?
Excuse me, my phone just distracted
It's
me.
okay.
Can you repeat that, please?
Yeah, I said, how can I make an action plan for something I'm struggling with, or for something I want to do? How can I start?
Start asking yourself, what do you want to do? It depends on what you want to do. And then, I don't know. Oh, yeah, that is Andy. Yeah. What you want to do. And then I ask myself, why you want to do it. That's a very important question. And then I ask myself, how am I going to do it? What is needed? And do I need people, or do I need to research something? And then I ask myself, in how many time, how many days, how many minutes, how quick, what is the time frame that I want to put out for this? So more or less like the feel good hack, because I thought I don't have that much time today, so I cannot share all those structures. But for the action plan, it's what are you going to do? Why are you doing this? What, why, and how, and in what time frame?
Good one. I'm gonna try it out.
It works.
We're very much on schedule, so we have a little bit of extra time to ask you a couple of questions. So that's actually perfect. When a presentation goes this fast, I mean, I'm gonna switch it to the next slide because I loved this one. It's some of these questions I use in my own coaching as well. So I would love to go a little bit deeper in this. The second questions, why do I feel this way? Why do you ask yourself that question?
You're talking to me right now, or to Renata?
No, I'm talking to you. You're the presentation.
Yeah, okay. Why I ask myself this question?
Yes.
Because it's very
Why?
important. Because I believe it's very important to understand why, not just what, but why. Because it's from the why you can keep on. The why is a part of the process to get where you should come. So you cannot come without the why, and that is a very important part to understand why you're feeling this way, and to to evaluate, to detangle yourself. I don't know what's the word, but to do that with yourself.
Untangle. I think that's a very, very important lesson for many people. I hear so often, it's because of this or it's because of that, but many times it comes from within you. you feel some discomfort for some reason, and it can be insecurity, it can be anxiety, can be excitedness, and it's all good. I mean, I think you both will have experienced that.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
what I also find interesting about this feel good hack is because it can be very confronting if you ask yourself, how do I feel
It
or
is.
why am I feeling the way I'm feeling? But how can you go from that discomfort to feeling better?
Well, I think the reason why people have this discomfort is because they're busy thinking what other people are thinking about them. And the good part about writing this down by yourself, there's nobody to judge you there, you know. So you can, in Dutch they say, you can go with a bit of billen bloot. You can do as wrong as you want, or that is needed, and there's nobody there to judge but you. So
Yep.
that's you know, that's not every time very easy to deal with, but it's easier to do it by yourself, and then when you're doing it with friends or people that have their opinions or start to give you their peace of minds or their judgments, you know. So I think it's better when you do this by yourself a few times first before you start, you know, do it in a group or whatever.
I totally agree. I'm gonna give you some time to yourself so you can unwind the last little bit. You remember the scream that we practiced, so you can do that
I'm
up
gonna drink a
scream by
little water.
yourself. Uh, water, water. um,
It's my gin
I'm
tonic.
uh,
No.
I'm gonna give you some time to come to your senses, and I'll
Thank
see
you.
you in the round table. Thank you very much, Vanessa. You did
Thank
an
you
Thank you,
awesome
guys.
job.
Vanessa.
Yes,
Thank
thank you.
you.
Yeah.
How are you
That
doing,
was so
Renata?
good. That was so good. I wrote down the questions about what do you want to do? Why do I want to do it? How am I planning on doing it? And the time frame. So I'm gonna try that out. I have some things I need to plan, I would say. So why not start today instead of never? Because you know what they say, tomorrow never comes or Monday never comes. So I want to try it right away.
I wrote it down to ask Vanessa to make a slide, that slide specifically for Innovation C, so we can share it on our Facebook
Good
page
one.
because it was a very good one. So remind me of that. I'm
Yeah.
gonna check if our lady from with the beautiful Caribbean accent is there. Diana, if you're there, please come on stage. How is the co-hosting so far? Are you feeling it? Are you excited? Are you nervous? Or are you like, you know what, Andy, go do it by yourself?
No, none of the above actually. Well, am I feeling it? Yes, I am feeling it. I'm not nervous. I do like it. It doesn't, well, I would say it kind of comes natural to me. And I like doing this with you, Andy. You're so easy. Hi, Diana.
Hi guys.
Well, if I was a lady, I would have been offended.
You're so
You're so
easy. No, no,
easy.
no. You're easy to talk to. I mean, easy to talk to.
Hi, Diana.
Hi Andy. Hi
How are
Renata.
you feeling?
Hi.
I am feeling okay. I'm a bit
Yeah,
nervous, but I'm okay.
Don't be
Hi
nervous
Captain
for
nervous.
what?
Coconut. I have no idea. I'm not really good with talking to the camera. And normally with video calling with you guys, it's different. But then when you go off the stage, and then this is also my first presentation that I'm actually talking about myself, which is a push from Andy. It has been a push for months now, but we're gonna do our best.
Okay, awesome. You
Before
think
you
you're ready
start,
to?
can I ask something? Can
Yes.
everybody in the chats give Diana some love so she knows she has nothing to worry about? Give her some love, people. Give her some love.
Thank you guys.
Look, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Yes.
Boom, Diana. I would say upload your presentation. We're gonna leave the stage, so it's all yours. Please take a deep breath and own it. Bye,
Yes.
Renata.
Thank you. Thank you guys. Welcome and good evening. It's even here in the Netherlands, and then in Curaçao, then it's in the afternoon. It's after 3. My name is Diana Rose Victor. Um, Andy invited me to he wanted me to well, I wanted to kind of share my experience about being a digital entrepreneur and kind of explain to the people or to anyone that is thinking about going to entrepreneurship or taking ownership as far as what is going on in the Caribbean or it's going around globally. A lot of people are afraid to start their own business. And so I wanted to like share with you guys my experience and how I became a digital entrepreneur, how I decided to move to the Netherlands, and I'm actually living like worldwide. I'm bouncing back from Curaçao and the Netherlands. About me, I'm originally from Trinidad and Tobago. So if anyone knows about Trinidad and Tobago, it's two islands in the Caribbean. I'm from Trinidad. I was born in Trinidad. It's actually, like I said, it's two islands. Trinidad is known as the land of the hummingbirds, which is a bird which kind of like it flies through the Caribbean and navigates and everything. So everyone tells me like it's not really strange that you love to travel and everything. I moved to Curaçao when I was 11 years old, and 10 years ago I moved to the Netherlands. My thing for me is like everything that I learned throughout my experience as a global entrepreneur or just living the global life, living the digital life. I want to take it back to the Caribbean. I want to take it back to my country. I'm from Trinidad. I want to also empower people from Curaçao, but also from the Dutch Caribbean. So everything that I basically learned and I gained from my experience, I take it back home. I always call both of the islands are my home. I tell everyone I'm going back home. So that is my journey. That's my life journey to always take it back. A lot of people in the past, they would be asking me like, oh, how do you actually do it by making the decision to actually decide to live digitally? It's a very difficult decision to make, but it's possible. One of the main thing with that for my decision is family always comes first. So it doesn't matter the job opportunity. It doesn't matter the distance or the location or whatever. I make sure I keep myself grounded by always keeping my family in my heart, in my mind, keeping my islands, like my love for Curaçao and my love for Trinidad, of course. I am a full Trinidadian, so I keep that basically as that helps me keep myself grounded. I am a software developer. I'm also a founder of a CRM system. I am a business consultant and a business coach. I'm an expert in CRM and SharePoint. So I'm kind of like a nerd, but I love planning and organizing, and I love processes. I work in a male-dominated environment, but I have been able to kind of show my strength and keep my head focused there, and also show them that I can do it also. One thing that everyone always asks me is like, oh, you always know what you want to do and how do you do what you do and everything. And a lot of people think that you have to always know what you want. And I don't believe that you always have to know what you want, but you should always have a list of the things you do not want, because that helps you to stay focused. That helps you to find your focus, your core, your true value to yourself. Like in the presentation where Vanessa mentioned, you have to keep it real with yourself. You have to be able to just ask yourself the difficult questions, be honest, write them down also, because it's so weird that Andy picked someone else that also likes to plan and write stuff down, because I also do the same. I keep it real with myself. I focus on everything I want to do. I plan and organize everything that I want to do, and I also write them down. For me, this is my business model. I decided while deciding between working abroad and then also having your family, and also because I'm a mom of 2 kids. So I decided that I had to pick like this hub. I had to pick like my headquarter. I had to pick like somewhere that I consider home from home, and which is the Netherlands. So I live in the Netherlands. I travel back and forth to the Dutch Caribbean and to Trinidad and Tobago, and then I have the global experience because I do carry out my business also in Germany and Poland and South Korea and everything. So that is kind of like how I share my knowledge, and actually how I also gain more knowledge and experience digitally. if you ever were deciding on, or you ever had this feeling that your purpose is greater than you think, that you have like you have more strength in you, that you are actually feel like, am I comfortable where I am? Thank you. Actually, if you're comfortable where you're at when your job, because a lot of people think like it's having the knowledge, having the experience, having the education, having this title and everything. But some people don't actually go in and look into themselves and to feel like, am I doing what I really feel like I want to do? Just like Vanessa mentioned, I also too were like stuck in society where you had to like go to the highest level of education. I also went to PSE, which is Paid to Service at that time. I did finish, I graduated, and everyone at that time in my family were also thinking like, oh yeah, you should go into law. And then I did a couple of internships and I realized that I was working for another person. I wasn't doing what I really wanted to do. I wasn't feeling comfortable even doing what I was doing. So I had to really search into myself. And one of those things was like, for me at that time, Curaçao turned to be, it was too small for me. But my love was always there for the island. And that's why I always stay connected. I have stayed connected. Even with us living abroad, we make sure one of the things that I always do, I take my kids back home. They know the culture, they know the norms, so like the standards of living in Curacao. So they even have the cultural upbringing, which is like most of the time when people take their kids away from Curacao, they tend to like distance them from the island, from the language, from the culture, from the discipline and everything. But I can try to keep them grounded so they have both discipline and cultural experience and the core values of Curacao and Trinidad in them. And that's also something I also share with the world, because in my experience of going abroad and working with different people, a lot of them also, they mostly hear the negative things of the Caribbean, and it includes negative things from Trinidad, or it also includes negative things from Curacao. But there are a lot of negative things also happening around the world. But the thing is, like, sometimes people have to focus and they have to come together to actually see of all of the opportunity that there is presented there on the island. I really believe that Curacao is an island that has so much diversity. Everyone is coming in from the different parts of the Caribbean. They're joining each other. The force in the Caribbean, if we all join force, I think we'll be more stronger than a lot of the other regions in the world. So if you, as an islander, feel that you have like a greater purpose, you feel and you have that opportunity for you to actually take yourself and go abroad and actually learn something from the Caribbean and learn something that you can bring back to the Caribbean, take that opportunity and always remember to go back to your grounded feeling. So where you're from, always try to contribute back to your country. Wherever you feel mostly at home, that's where you have to kind of put your heart in, your heart, your soul. That's how I feel in. And that's what I wanted to share with you guys. As a business consultant, I consult still in the corporate world. One of the things is I decided like how I like they say you reclaim your time. Yes, I did. I actually tell the like corporate world, and that is kind of my way of like learning from the corporate world to actually translate it in as a business coach to smaller businesses on the island, in Curacao, and also in Trinidad and Tobago. And that's what I basically do. So I kind of help everyone, the businesses we help them in administration, their processes, their system, their finances, and even tax, so that they will be able to like know what to expect during their business cycle, and for them to be able to have the same quality standards and the opportunity that a bigger corporate has. Because if you look at it right now, corporates are suffering, but they're suffering because small businesses are closing, and a lot of people were not getting it. Small businesses are the backbones of any economy. And that's why we have to contribute to them. The entrepreneur, the freelancers, the small businesses, the small grocery stores next to you, which we call like the tocos in Curacao, small shops, local family businesses. Those are the businesses that thrive. Those are the businesses that actually feed into our economy. And we have to like keep on promoting that, keep on promoting entrepreneurship, keep on promoting people that wants to say like, hey, I want to do something for myself, and that is kind of my goal, to actually add value so that you could be able to jump into the game and actually survive the game also. This is my CRM system that I decided to create. In 2010, like I said, I always stayed connected with the island. In 2010, I did a study on why businesses, small businesses, actually don't achieve their goal, and a lot of them, they fail within the first 5 years. And it came back to, of course, knowledge and experience and management skills. In 2016, I was still working full-time for a company. I decided that that's when I reclaimed my time, and I was like, I'm going to like focus on something that I want to contribute back to the island. And that's when Desky was born. So I created the system in 2017. It was launched in Curaçao. And in 2019, I launched it in the Netherlands. And the system is created for both the Netherlands and Curaçao. So if you guys want to follow the page, there's a lot of information you can learn from the page without even having the system, because my thing is to, with this system, to actually empower the small businessman, for them to have all of the knowledge, the experience, all of the know-how, all of the tools that they need to manage their business. And that's what they can do. You can do everything from managing your contacts and making invoices and everything from the system. And I did it affordably. There's a whole team behind the system that helps, that empowers the user themselves for them to be able to do it. And that's how I created Desky. That's the goal with it. It's the goal to be supported also in the future. So every changes that happens locally or nationally, it also goes into the system. International changes also. The big question that I kind of get is, why go back and forth? Like I said, my heart is with the Caribbean. My loyalty stays with the Caribbean. Why digital? I love to travel. The island, I personally found that, not that it was small, not that it's not fun, because I can find a lot of stuff to do at Curaçao that when people think about it, they think like, oh, but it's so small, there won't be enough for you to do. I love going back home. I love going back to Trinidad and everything. And that is why I decided to do it digitally, and to take everything that I know from and all of my experience, keep on bringing it back to the Caribbean. And that is my goal as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. I still want to travel. There's so much places that I still want to go to visit, but my hub would always and forever would stay the Caribbean. So I would always go back home. One of the things that I realized that a lot of people don't even realize that they have, the world is in your hands. And basically, I call that your phone, your smartphone. So if you're thinking about starting your business, or you're thinking about going digital with your local business, you have to start with a mindset of not thinking of, oh, I don't have the income to invest into that, or I don't have the knowledge and the experience. All of that is in your phone. So you got to use what you have, be ambitious, empower yourself, nurture growth. So don't have like the fixed mindset that you're thinking like, oh, I can't do it and everything. Take the time to like look into yourself, be honest to yourself before you do that with a group of people. Like Vanessa mentioned, do it for yourself. Write it down. There's no one to judge you. So write your goals and your stuff down that you want to achieve. Think about your obligations. Think about your responsibility, the responsibility that it does bring, so that it does give you clarity into what you're going to expect in doing business, what you're going to expect in doing business abroad, what you're going to expect in doing business locally. And take that and use that as your starting point if you want to start your business, or if you're thinking about, like, even if you want to be a freelancer, or if you want to do it as a side hustle, use that to do that too. So guys, this is my presentation. Thank you for your time. This is my social links and stuff. So if you guys want to connect, feel free to reach out. I answer all of my messages myself personally. I try to answer them within 24 hours, but most likely 48 hours. But like I said, I keep grounded. I keep myself centered with everyone. So I still stay really local. and everything. So if you want to reach out in Papiamento, in Dutch or in English, just reach out and let's connect. Let's get social. I can't.
It took so long to get you on stage. Now you come on stage and you tell such an amazing story. I have questions. I have questions, but first, I would love for you to share your Desky CRM link in the chat later for the people, because I think that's very important. Just for the people, if they want, they can connect with her in the link on the LinkedIn that I just shared right there, because what you do is amazing, and you are way too humble for your own good.
No, I'm not. It's good. Hi, Vanessa. Thank you.
Renata, how did you like the presentation of Diana?
I love your presentation, and also I like how you said in the beginning that Trinidad and Tobago is, or Trinidad is the land of the hummingbird. And I love how you made the connection between your love for traveling and then the hummingbird doing the same. So I think that is gonna be my spirit animal from now on. I stole that from you, if that's okay. And I wanted to ask you one thing. What is your biggest challenge of having a or of being a digital entrepreneur?
One of the biggest challenge was letting go of control, because you cannot be in two places at the same time. So you had to really learn to trust, delegate also, and then kind of let go of control. And as a quality and someone that plans and organizes and all of the actions sits with you, you had to kind of like trust that other people could do the same for you.
And how did that work out for you?
It's working out really good. It
Okay.
works out. We have like I when I started my business, I started my business like team one, but it looked like you would swear it was like 100 men behind this business. And you have to add structure in your small business. Like you can add the weekly meetings with yourself. You can add like weekly content to yourself. Like what do you want to have to do? What do you want to do? You could have like the sales thing. When you think about like a sales department and finance department or operations department, that's you thinking as one person, but you also have to put it in time and planning so you won't get overwhelmed by all of it, and you can still succeed. Because when you're in business, you're going to be doing the sales part of selling yourself, but you're also doing the customer service, the aftercare, all of that. And at a certain time, I had to like delegate it, but we keep like meetings and everything, and that's how we do it. That's the only way you can do it, because you still have to be just honest to yourself. If it's not working, you also have to be honest with yourself about that.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we're going to continue to the next speaker, can you just mention, because someone else made a comment about that, can you just mention in which countries you're doing business?
I'm doing business. The system, Desky CRM, is running currently in Curaçao and the Netherlands. I do business with, I have clients in the US. I have clients in Poland, in Germany, so Curaçao and Trinidad. And now, just now also maybe Canada. So
Keeping your my
Awesome.
we're
fingers crossed.
working. Yeah, we're
Well,
working hard on that one, and it's gonna come through. I know it.
there's someone from South Africa in the chat. So Suzette, if you need a CRM app, this is her. Then you can broaden her perspective even more. How are you feeling? Because you were a little bit nervous, and how are you feeling now?
I still feel nervous. I still feel nervous. You know, the thing is with me, I'm a digital person. I love working by myself, but I still get nervous when I have to talk to the camera on the computer. It's so
Yeah,
weird. I don't know what it is, and it makes me nervous. And
that's
then also
exactly why.
keeping up with the chat. So I was trying not to get distracted by the chat on the right side.
Yeah.
But the lights is also distracted, so everything is like, oh, and then you're breathe,
That's exactly
slow it
why
down.
I'm asking you this. So the people in the chat also realize that even though you can make such an amazing app, doing the presentation is a complete different skill. And
Yeah.
sometimes you see all these Dragon Dance and Shark Tank, and it's very difficult to have those specific skills, and it's not necessary. What Diana is doing is amazing without participating in all those things. So it's also possible for you and still be nervous for a presentation. I thought it was very important to share that as well. Diana,
Yeah.
I'm gonna thank you, and I'm gonna remove you off stage, not because
Thank
I
you,
want to get
guys.
rid of you, but
Thank
because
you,
we need to move
Diana.
on to the next one. That's awesome. Renata, how are you feeling?
To be very honest, I feel, well, I'm trying to stay calm, but I feel very energized every time I do these kind of things, or when I'm looking at a presentation that Innovation C, or a webinar, I should say, that Innovation C is organizing. I feel like I want to do so much more. I can do so much more. So I'm trying to stay calm and not think, okay, what shall I do next? So I'm living in the moment, but I'm very excited. I'm very eager to do more.
Well, in the roundtable, I hope to give you a little bit of time as well to explain a little bit what you're doing, because although you're not here to do a presentation, you're doing amazing things as well. But before we're
Thank
going
you.
to get to that, I'm going to ask Miss Cecilia, Rianne Cicilia, can you please come on stage? Rianne is also a globetrotter. I mean, again, in the whole worldwide community is talking about digital nomads like it's something special. We are born with that gene. For us, it's regular life almost. Someone asked me like, yeah, can we call them a digital nomad? And I'm like, everyone that comes from Curaçao and travels across the sea to go study or was born there but still has a connection with Curaçao is a digital nomad. So with that being said, and you're mute. You're yes, welcome, Rianne.
Thank
How are you
you.
feeling? Are you ready?
Yes, I am ready. So last presentation of today already, and time is going by very fast, and very inspired by hearing the presentations of Vanessa and Diana. So very eager to share my story. But yeah, let's do it.
I feel a little bit threatened here because they're like four powerful ladies, and then there is me. So I'm gonna remove myself off stage
Yeah,
and give
let's
it
just
all
leave.
to you.
Great. Thank you.
Rianne, toi
Good
toi
luck.
toi.
Great. Thank you all. Let me just share my media if it's working. Great when you work in tech and it's not collaborating with you. Yes, there we are. Great. So let's move on. So thank you for the introduction, Andy and Renate. Good afternoon, good evening, all. This is the last presentation of today, so I hope everyone is still energized and eager to listen. And before I start, I would also like to say thank you, Innovation C, for this opportunity and this platform, of course. Before I even start sharing or diving into my experience with working digital and what my vision is on working digital in Curaçao, let me introduce myself first. So as you can see, or as you heard, my name is Rianne Cicilia. I have a background in information studies with a specialization in business information systems. And as an employee of a large consultancy firm for over 9 years, I've worked in various IT delivery organizations and in various roles, from support to delivery management. And I have experience with large-scale IT implementations and different types of technologies in various industries such as utilities and oil and gas. Even furthermore, I have experience with a broad range of topics varying from GDPR, information risk management, HR to gas leak inspections, all from an IT perspective. And after all of these years, I felt that it was time for something new. Plus, I wanted to be more active in Curaçao. So I started my entrepreneurial journey with Alta Services last year. And I will highlight one of the services I provide later during this presentation. But next to that, I am passionate about technology and advocating for more diversity and inclusion in the workplace, or specifically tech. And personally, I would also love to see more people from Curaçao working in tech, but perhaps it's difficult to achieve that if there's no steady pipeline of incoming talent, or perhaps a lack of awareness about these types of career, or any other reason that is unknown to me. However, despite the current challenges with the education system, I'm also keen to inspire the younger generation in Curaçao to consider study and ultimately a career in tech. As in my opinion, tech could or even should become one of the pillars of the Curaçao economy next to tourism and other potential pillars in the future. This is also one of the reasons why I want to become more active with my work in Curaçao in the upcoming period. Just to share a bit of the structure about my presentation today, so I will first dive into my personal experience with working digital, the challenges, then I will share a bit more about my vision for Curaçao, and based on that, you will naturally get a feeling on what I'm actually doing work-wise. And before I start with that, I'm curious to hear how many of you, and I kind of assuming that there's a lot already, but how many of you have experience with working digital across borders, or at least how many of you have experience with working for or being part of a virtual team? And just drop a yes or no in the comment box. Ah, a lot of yeses. That's good to see, and I was already hoping that, but at least I still hope that I will still be able to provide some new insights during this during my presentation. So when I was asked to share something about working digital, I had to think about it for a second and actually think about whether I was actually doing that. But then I realized I was already doing that since the start of my career in 2010. But it has become so deeply ingrained for me that I consider it normal, or at least a normal way of working. For me, it will be uncommon to not have the opportunity to, for instance, work from home at least one day a week, or having all my team members or stakeholders located in the same location or country. I do have to say, it wasn't a conscious decision at the time to work digital. However, I knew that I wanted to work for a company that was active in different countries. And that was my key criteria when I started my job search. But back to the question, how have I been working digitally then? In order to answer that, I reflected on the past years in which I've managed portfolios, programs, and projects partially virtually. I did it on a regular basis from home, in addition to going to the office. But even when I was in the office, I was in conference call the majority of the day. Working virtually meant for me that the majority of the project teams that I managed and stakeholders or vendors were not based in the same locations or countries as I was. For example, for one of my projects, the software engineer was based in India, the functional specialist in Malaysia, the business stakeholders that were impacted and needed to provide requirements across 80 plus countries. And lastly, my business analyst and other team members, including myself, in the Netherlands. We were a group of people, all working for the same client, but some of them were staff, others were contractors from different companies. However, in this case, being from different backgrounds, either companies or whatsoever, was never an issue. We worked well together because we had one common goal that we worked towards together. And what I've learned is that in organizations that embrace virtual teams, the focus lies on the results. The results they want to achieve and delivering value. So really the outcome. Based on the desired value, desired result or value, they seem to choose the right approach to get it done with the right team, the team with the right skill sets to reach that goal, no matter where they're located. And of course, this applies to companies that perhaps are more active globally and don't have any location restrictions. But in my case, that meant that there are several people that I've worked with for many years, but never actually physically met them. But they know and remember me for the value and the results that I brought. And that's the most important thing in my opinion. So until now, all positive experiences, right? But managing a partially virtual team has also brought some challenges for me. And please note that these perspectives are all mainly from a corporate perspective. And I've listed some challenges in no specific order, but they are somewhat interlinked. And of course, there are many more challenges than these. But for a starter, one of the challenges that I noticed or experienced was how to work efficient. So for instance, whilst working from various time zones, it can be very challenging to schedule an important meeting if you need to account for 3, 4, 5 time zones. So it really requires a lot of flexibility of everyone involved. On the other side, if you can use it smart, for instance, by following the sun concept, you can deliver more work, for instance, or even work as a team 24/7. But also in terms of efficiency, think about the tools that you use to collaborate, because the same information has to be available for all team members at all times in order for everyone to work. So think about cloud services, etc., collaborating tools. That's really important. Another aspect was really team building or management or leadership, however you want to call it. But a virtual team is typically physically not visible. So how do you know that people are doing their work? Therefore, for me, it's important that you need to trust. You need to trust your team members and ensure that people take ownership, or people need to take ownership for their work as well. For me, that meant also a shift in how I manage the teams, and it meant that I had to be more focused on the end result rather than focusing on how people are doing things. I know a few examples of managers that always said that if you are not physically present in the office, you are not working. And for me, that was I find that a very old-fashioned way of management and also looking at work. Again, of course, dependent on your type of job. Two other things, lastly, cultural differences and communication. They are interlinked, in my opinion. Cultural difference, because in a lot of cases, you see that a virtual team could also mean a cross-cultural team. And what I've experienced, that this sometimes could lead to a lack in understanding. For instance, due to cultural differences, people mean certain things in a different way. So for me, it's very important with my teams to really create a common understanding and really be intentional about ensuring that we understand each other. In terms of communication, when you are co-located in an office with your colleagues, you tend to go to lunch together or drink a cup of coffee and informally share something about your work and the progress, for instance. But since as a virtual team, you don't see each other often and you don't have a lot of informal chats, again, you have to be intentional about how and when you communicate and really keep that team spirit and team bonding alive. So really schedule team meetings on a regular basis. And in addition, with all of my team members, I always had this virtual one-to-one sessions in which there will be more time to focus on the individuals and really their personal development and struggles that they might have work-wise. So far, this was my personal experience in a sense, in a nutshell. But back to Curaçao. Due to the COVID-19 situation and the lockdown, I've already seen more changes in a short period of time, and many people suddenly had the ability to work from home. But what if Curaçao takes it a step further, meaning truly embracing working digital, virtual teams, and digital nomads, and of course, leveraging that by technology? Based on my learnings in the past year, I believe that if Curaçao embraces working digital more, it would allow the island to tap into a greater pool of knowledge and a network of talented people that could support unlocking the value of many ideas. Because I believe there are many great ideas on the table in Curaçao. However, even the best ideas have no value if they cannot be brought to life. And this is relevant for all sizes and types of organizations, in my opinion, but also for employees working for those. Just to share a personal frustration, and don't be mad for me about it, but it always frustrates me that on a lot of occasions, in order to get something done in Curaçao, they want you to be physically present, whilst it's actually not necessary. Or, for instance, the limited information that you can find online on certain services. Especially nowadays, with all the technology that is available, it's not necessary. So what do I think is needed to embrace working digital more in Curaçao, or at least enabling virtual working more? I would say that it would start with a shift in mindset, or at least a behavioral change. It requires a different way of looking at work and how you work. And for me, again, what you heard me saying at the beginning, meaning being more result-oriented. And as I already said, an example that I used, in a lot of cases, you have to be physically present to get something done. But what if you focus on the desired end results first, so the outcome that you're trying to achieve, rather than the process to get there, and in some cases even by managing the process, even micromanaging. Think about it. Do you then still need people to be physically present to achieve the same result? I will be doubtful, but think about it. As I'm always interested in processes, I've also asked people in Curaçao, out of curiosity, why they do certain things in a certain way. And I often get the answer, this is just the way we do it, or this is just our process. And Even sometimes I get a snarky remark even about, if you don't like it, go elsewhere. But okay. A shift in mindset would also mean looking differently at what you are doing and why you are doing it. And whilst you're thinking about that, when you think about why you're doing something or something in a certain way, think also about the value that it actually adds. That leads me to the next thing. So another thing for me to enable digital working more would be focusing more on delivering value, especially in times like these in Curaçao with required budget cuts, times where there are a lot of ideas and projects that need to be delivered with less time and limited budget. It is important to focus and understand the value each idea, project, or initiative could bring. Once you have clarity about the value or the benefits you expect, it's easier to outsource that chunk of work or give it to someone and let them run with it. Because in the new mindset, you will be focused on the end result anyway. Lastly, I would also say being more intentional about what you do and choosing, being more intentional about what you do and choosing what you are going to do. So really prioritizing your work based on the value that it brings. So a lot of organizations have a list of ideas and projects they want to do in order to achieve their strategic objectives. You can find this information typically in a strategic plan. And if your organization, if you don't have that, I suggest you start doing that first. However, in an ideal world, there would be unlimited budget or funds available to work on every idea there's out there. But unfortunately, that's not the case. So therefore, I believe it's important that organizations understand what value each idea could bring and then prioritize ideas and projects accordingly to that value. Based on that prioritization, decide what you're going to do and what not. Only then decide what is the best way to achieve your desired result and who or whom with what skill set you need to get there, no matter the location. Meaning just not starting a project, not starting a project because it was the next thing on your to-do list, or but really based on the value that it brings. Looking at work this way would also allow organizations to make the most efficient use of resources and benefits of each investment. By embedding some of these practices, I think Curaçao could have a strong foundation, a culture that would allow people, no matter where they're located, to work towards the same goal and, more importantly, unlocking value. What I just described about prioritizing ideas and projects according to value and how it aligns with strategic objectives is portfolio management in a nutshell. And given the current economic circumstances on Curaçao, I believe it's even more important and relevant for decision makers to focus on what value they're aiming to achieve and prioritize accordingly. Portfolio management is also one of the services next to fulfilling interim program and project roles I provide. I help with setting up portfolio and project delivery organizations and managing these from a value-based perspective, the mindset I just mentioned. With Alta Services, it is my mission to help organizations to unlock the value of organizational ideas and projects and support them in this process. Now, this might seem only relevant for people working for large organizations, but I believe we all can adopt these best practices and work more result-oriented. And by doing so, be or become an influencer within an organization, no matter what our role is. And with this, we could influence change in terms of how we work from the bottom up in Curaçao, rather than waiting from top-down changes or instructions. And in order to create more awareness about this and helping people to start working this way, I am planning to develop a masterclass around this way of working and thinking. More information will follow soon via social media. However, if you're already interested, drop me an email already. This was my presentation. Thank you all for listening. If you want to connect, I am available on all social media channels, as you can see, or drop me an email at info@altaservicesinc.com. Thank you.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Good job, Rianne.
Thank you.
How are you feeling?
Great and energized.
Energized, good. I mean, for the people that don't know, Rianne is just on the brink of coming to Curaçao, so she just got a couple of days preparing all this and doing the trip and doing her COVID-19 test. So there's a lot going on. So doing the presentation, I really commend you for being here and doing such a good job.
Thank you. I love doing it actually. So I saw that I missed a question, but I ignored it. But I think it's already answered, right?
No,
No, I
Renata will take
also
care of it.
thought,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you for your presentation. And I wrote down a question, but I wanna ask you the question that Captain Coconut with his white poodle,
Mhm.
what he asked. And his question was, what is following the sun concept? So you're talking about having teams in different countries, and what is the sun concept?
So following the sun concept is basically, and it's typically used in support organizations or IT support organizations. And what you see is that following the sun, meaning work-wise, support-wise, you follow the sun in terms of time zones with your work and what you're doing, and that would allow your team to work almost 24/7. So if you have a service or you have a support desk that you need to be that needs to be available 24/7, you can do that by following the sun in terms of how it goes up and how it goes down and enabling that.
I was thinking in a way more Zen because I'm more in personal development. I thought it
Yeah.
had something to do with that, but I love that. Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Awesome. I saw some people that have never before been in the conference. So welcome all, Peter, Garrett, um, uh, Isis. You're all very welcome. Please do participate, ask questions. We're gonna ask the other people. Andrew, um, I'm also an Andrew, so very nice to see a fellow. Andrew is from, if I'm saying it correctly, Actual, or I have difficulty pronouncing the name. I see the sign every time on the way to Amistad. Very interesting to visit that office as well. I'm going to ask the other speakers to come on stage so we can all get together for a roundtable. It all went so fast. This is for the first time. All the speakers were on time. Nothing to say about Renata, her talk, because it was also very on time.
No, but they say women talk a lot. I mean, we're right on time, right?
But in my introduction, I said, do you see a similarity between these speakers? And I don't know if anyone noticed, but
Oh, good
I,
one.
there is a similarity in all four of you and why I picked you for, because you inspire me to do something.
Mm.
Plan and
Anyone?
organize and structure.
Ding, 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 ding,
Yeah.
ding.
Good one, Diana.
I
You
saw
get to
that.
give me you get to give me a free hour of coaching.
You're welcome.
Welcome, ladies. Please, everyone in the chat, this is our roundtable. This is the first time I'm doing it this way. Luke did the last one with Stacy. They're both off today and they're enjoying their time. But we're doing 3 speakers and 2 hosts, and that's just switching it up so we can have more chance to talk to each other. So please feel free to ask each other questions, to interact with the people. In the chat. Sander, Conta, a long time indeed. Sander and I had some connection through the Facebook apps, and he's here also for the first time. So please feel free, Renata, to ask all your questions. But first, I want to make sure, Rianne, since you have all this experience already with all these big companies that you worked for, I'm really wondering what is a challenge that you're really looking forward to have on your path right now?
Ooh.
Ooh. I
Ooh.
think for me, and I think I have a slightly, in a sense, we all have roots in Curaçao, but for me, I am born and raised in the Netherlands, so I have never lived in Curaçao. So for me, truly, so the mindset that I just mentioned, and I saw a few of you commenting on that, I think that's one of the challenges, and in a sense, I'm looking forward to that because it means that there's still a lot to do, a lot of change, a lot of opportunities there as well. So that's something that I'm looking forward to. Sounds a bit strange, but I am.
No,
It's gonna
sounds
be a
very good.
challenge indeed, I think. It's
Yeah.
Sounds
I love that
fine.
question, Andy. If I can piggyback off of that,
Yeah.
talking about challenges, I wonder how can you create trust? And this question is towards Rihanna again. How can you create trust among colleagues that live all the way on the other side of the world and that you might have never seen before?
So for me, actually, that was also a journey that I had to go to, because now you see with the whole COVID-19 situation and people being more on Zoom, that video conferencing is becoming more a thing. But if I look at my past assignment that I finished, I think 2 months ago, in a lot of cases we didn't use the video camera. So there was one lady that always said, let's put on the video camera. So that's one of the advices that I copied. So try to really create a personal bond. And what I also do in the conference calls with my team members is, because I can typically be very strict and to the point and say, okay, how you're doing? Great, let's start business, and this is what we're going to do. But really allow for personal time, some chit chatter in the beginning of the call, for instance, and really get to know people. And by using the camera, by being involved, by having these virtual one-to-ones, and in some cases we even had virtual cup of coffees, just scheduling time for that during lunch, so we at least could see each other and try to create a bond. And in a lot of meetings, especially in the get to know you phase, let them introduce something about themselves as well in terms of what they're doing in a personal life. So really those things. And as I mentioned, you have to be more intentional about it as well.
Definitely
Love
agree.
it. I have the same thing. I like to go straight to the business, get that off my chest, and then we can chit chat about everything. But I learned a lot from Luke that's really like, hold on, let's touch base first, and then we talk about business. So that's been very interesting for me with this journey with Innovation C. I'm gonna connect with the lady down there because she's been the longest off stage. Vanessa, you have some time to cool down. How is this from Supernest to Ride On to now being a famous Innovation C star?
Um, yeah, every part of the journey is excited. It depends on what is happening at the moment. But yeah, from getting from Supernest to Ride On was very difficult, because there's a huge difference between hungry people and people that just need letters. So I got a whole lot of attention for Supernest, like overwhelming, and which was good. But with Ride On, I still have to do my extra best to show people that I'm not just, busy in the kitchen. I can write also. I studied law, and I think about my stuff. And actually, everything that you see in Supernest, I did by myself. Everything that's on Facebook, every letter that's written, So they don't know that, So and this is with the Ride On. I'm hoping to let people know who I really am, because actually you can wake me up to write a letter, but you please do not wake me for a cup of soup, you know? So yeah.
And which people are more difficult? People that are hungry or your clients that need a letter now?
It depends on the situation. It depends definitely on the situation, because hungry people are scary people sometimes, but
I'm
people
one
with
of those.
issues, me too. But people with issues, it is what part of my presentation was. It is very important to say what you really mean, and what inspires or what gives me energy is when people come and talk to me about their situation or whatever that is boggling their mind, and I start writing their letter, and they see my letter and they say, this is exactly what I want to say. The feeling, the kind of breathing space they get because of that. I like I That's what I really love about it.
Good one.
I want to switch to the math because all these ladies had a chance to present. You didn't, and you're also doing very important work. I mean, there was a reason why I wanted you as a co-host, because you're also trying to work digitally across the border. You're living in Holland. You chose to build your career there, but still you're doing work on the island. Can you tell a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I was born and raised in Curaçao, moved to the Netherlands when I was 19, started my own company 2 years ago. I have been working for another company 2.5 years right now. And I was always used to working remotely, also from my current job, where my employer always says travel as much as you can, make sure you see the world while working. So I am used to doing that. And then I always say it doesn't matter for me, at least it doesn't matter where I live. I can always do something for my island. So 2 years ago, I had the honor of giving a presentation about my vision for the education on Curacao. For those who don't know yet, I don't teach, I facilitate classes at the, at the Hague University of Applied Sciences. And while giving this presentation, I was like, I should actually do something with that idea. So the first, no, 1st of June, because it's already July, time flies when you're having fun, they say. Time just flies. So on the 1st of June, I started a project, Future of Education. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep that name, but that is the name for now. And right now, I'm busy with my first experiment, talking to high schools in Curacao and see what their students or the kids need while going to school, and then more on a level that the support they need while making choices. So choices as in the second grade, you have to choose which profile or sector you want to do, and then in your last year, depending if you're doing MAVO, HAVO, or VWO, you have to choose what you want to do after. So I have been doing so many interviews lately, and I hope it's going to pick up. So if you're interested in knowing more about this whole project and how it's going, and or if you have some ideas or if you want to talk to me, make sure you reach out to me. I am not as social as most people. Um, Andy always is like, how do you not have social media? So some people call me antisocial. I think I'm very social. I have more time to interact with people since I don't have social media. So I have one thing, and that is LinkedIn. Make sure you send the connection request. My name is Renate Matroos, and I'm active on LinkedIn. So I would love to get in contact with people that would share their vision for the educational system on Curacao.
Awesome.
It sounds like a
Yeah, go ahead, Rianne.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that sounds like a great idea and a great project that you're doing, Renat. I'm very interested to hear more about it because I was sharing an idea with Andy that I had yesterday, and I believe perhaps there is some synergy that we can have with sharing the idea. And as you heard in the beginning of my presentation, I want to inspire and being more involved with the youth as well. So let's see. I will definitely connect with you.
Nice. That would be awesome.
That's the whole philosophy behind Innovation C. That's why we try to get people together, and if we can use um, Diana to build a special app for that, we're almost complete. The only thing we need to ask Vanessa then is to make sure that all the copywriting is right, and I'll do the social media. And
And some soup,
we,
please.
and
Indeed, because I want that soup.
Vanessa's temporarily retired from Super Nest, if I'm saying it correct. Temporary. No. Okay, you're muted, so we can. I'm gonna unmute you. But I thought you said you took a break from Super Nest for now.
The concept how it's promoted on Facebook, the Baudi Palu experience, that is
Right. The
that
pumpkin soup, yes.
yeah. So that is on a on a laag pitch. I don't know how to translate that literally in English, but if people ask me for soups, because they do ask me for if I can make pots of soups or whatever, if I have the time and if I can combine it with my letters, I will. But the way you see it on Facebook, with the live music and the real experience, that's on hold for a while. But if you want soup and if I have time, there will be soup.
There will be some. Okay, that's good to hear because I miss your soup. I miss your boy Palu experience.
I miss it too, to be honest.
It's very nice to always have that. Diana, you're the only one that we haven't heard since your presentation. Are you still breathing? You're
I
moving
am.
through your life.
I'm
Okay.
breathing.
How are you feeling?
Thank you.
How now that the nerves have calmed down? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling okay. Still feeling okay.
Okay, cool. the funny thing is, for the people that don't know how this works, I see a lot. Thank you, Andy, for doing this. I'm just one of the people in this. I mean, Luke, Stacy, Erika. There's so many people in here, and it's all connecting the dots. And it's because of Diana that I came to a group on Facebook that's called Kukiko Mipot Sirbibu. And from there, Rianne saw a post that I posted in there, and that's how we got in touch. And yeah, it's all very nice to see this. And I got to know Renate because she did a presentation, a workshop at the Kamer van Koophandel, or Chamber of Commerce. And I haven't even seen it, but just the responses from the people that in the comment section, I knew I wanted to talk to her. And our first introduction, I knew I wanted to work more with her.
You
And
still
Vanessa,
didn't tell me who told you those things. I still want to know who said that about me.
a gentleman never tells.
Oh man.
What is it? And never kiss and tell. Um,
Don't
with
kiss and
Vanessa,
tell, Andy.
exactly. With Vanessa, I don't remember how I met Vanessa and how I got in contact with her. But the first thing that I remember from Vanessa, this lady is genuine. She's true. And we hit it off, and there was a friendship from the get-go, and we've been knowing each other for about 3 years, and she has come helping me with some nasty work in my yard that needed to be
I
done.
forgot.
And
Yeah.
so she's not afraid to get her fingers dirty. So and that's what I love about this, and getting in touch with Innovation C, getting all connected in there. And now we're taking more the tech road and building Curaçao up and bringing hope. I thank you all for that. We still have some time left, so people, I know it's Dia di Bandera, and you're all a little bit quiet in the background, but please feel free to ask your questions, make comments, remarks, complaints, throw them in the group. Um, so if
I
you
have
have
a
any questions,
question. Yeah.
yes, take
I
it,
would
please.
like to ask one of my fellow ladies, to ask one of each, well, someone else a question. What is the question you would like to ask one of the other speakers, or me, or Andy?
Who do you want to go first?
You can go
Do you
first.
want it in an order?
No, you can go first.
I have a question for Rihanna, because you're almost ready to go back to Curacao. How have you been preparing for this? Like, for like instance, you say you're nervous, but it's also like a good challenge that you're going to go look forward to. How are you really prepared, and how long are you going to be there?
That's a good question. In terms of how long I'm going to be there, I hope longer. So if things go well, I will be staying there for a while. I'm planning to go there at least for 6 months until the end of the year. In terms of preparing, professional wise, really putting things online, networking more, getting to know people more, getting to know the situation more. But also, yeah, on a personal level, I'm also preparing as well with some coaching that I'm doing, and really trying to put myself more out there. So doing this presentation is one of those examples. Yeah, really, and I think I like what you said, is bringing that experience that you have from a corporate perspective, bringing that, or you're bringing that to smaller business, and coaching that as well. And I believe that I'm kind of doing a similar thing, although less intentional, in a sense that I've built up my corporate experience with different companies, and that's what I want to bring to Curaçao. And that, in a sense, is my preparation. But I also want to be open-minded, because typically otherwise I can prepare too much. Yeah, so also be open-minded.
I have a next question. And considering the current situation, because I know a lot of people are like looking at the current situation like at Curacao under a microscope. How do you feel about that moving, like making the decision still to go there at that
I
moment, at this
think
moment?
I think this is the moment. This is the exact time that you have to be there. This is the moment. This is a great time for change. They typically say that changes come from moments in crisis. So
Mm-hmm.
if you want to make a change, I would say now is the time. I think this is also a time where people are more open-minded, more looking for solutions and ideas to doing something differently, because there's a lot of dissatisfaction and just hearing or looking on social media, people want to do different things. So I see it as an opportunity. How do you guys see it?
I agree.
I fully agree. I mean,
Yeah.
I consider myself an example in that during my darkest moment, I'm sitting in a wheelchair when the doctors didn't have hope for me. My physical therapist didn't know how to deal with it. That is the moment where my biggest change came for me to be the man that I am today. And that's what I also tell people. This is the moment to take whatever is coming by the horns and continue with the change. When Renata tells me like, I want to do this, go for it. When Vanessa, I want to do this, go for it. And the same goes with the other ladies. This is the moment to push something through. People are desperate for a change. People are not desperate, but they really want something different. And this is the moment that they will be hungry for it. So if you don't do it now, you're going to lose an opportunity.
Yeah, I
I
fully
completely
agree.
agree. Yeah.
And I'm just for Vanessa, because you're partially or at least next to soup and Ness, and as I already mentioned, I want that soup, so we're really going to contact you. But in terms of just strategic writing, and I think one of the things, and maybe that's where I see an opportunity for you, is that as I mentioned, with my experience, I feel that being intentional with how you communicate is very important. And I think also with organizations in Curaçao, the message that they bring across online or in newsletters is very important. How do you see the opportunities for yourself in times like these?
Well, actually, the opportunities are there. The opportunities are here at this moment because I am actually happy that I decided to quit my job in 2016 because what the world is trying to do right now because of the COVID crisis, you have to work online, you have to stay home. I have been training myself doing since 2016 because what I want to do is actually I want to work at home in my home clothes. You know, that's I'm gonna be honest with that. So that was something that I wanted since I was studying. So I see very much opportunity in this at this moment in this, and actually I think also that it's very important the way in this case, but the way you approach your client, the way you communicate. Something that I was very irritated with when I was studying in the Netherlands is that people in Holland always criticize us here in Curaçao. They say, oh, you don't have to send Curaçao an email. They won't read it. They won't answer it. And that is something that really triggered me every time because I am reading your mails and I answer your mails. So with only that small detail, I want to bring a difference to show people how important it is to, you know, the way you communicate to stand out, because I don't think that it's that what I do is connected to a period of time, or it's just keeping it real with myself, know how I communicate, what I want to say, the way I approach my client. I really think in that, I really believe in that strength.
Great. I just
Great.
saw a super nice, sorry, I saw a super fun question that Sunder asked, and he said, what is a book that you would recommend to us and why? And
Oh, nice.
it is, I think it's funny because yesterday and today I bought a bunch of books. And when I say a bunch, I mean literally a bunch. So these are my new books. And I think all of them are pretty interesting. But I would like to share three, four, three. I'm just gonna share the cover. So if you want to take a screenshot or something, make sure you do so. So this one is Leap.
I agree with ditching your job and start your own business.
Yes. So if you're thinking about it, do that.
I
But if
agree
you're
with
a bit
you.
scared,
Yes.
don't take that leap yet. start your side hustle. Um,
Plan B.
this is not or plan A, depending on how
Yeah, true.
This
nervous you
is
get.
plan A1.
This one, and then 48 hour startup. So if you have a weekend and you have no plans, check this one out. And then maybe the last one I could share is pitching ideas. I think we often have good ideas, but we're not sure how to pitch them.
Yeah.
So those are three of my 7 books. But I really like reading. And another tip, it's not a specific book, but download an app. I'm using Storytel and I listen to a lot of books. So I think on average, I listen to 4 or 5 books a month. And then I read 3 books a month, 4 books a month additional. So yeah,
Very good.
That's great.
yes, I try.
I used to love reading when I was a kid, but I my eyesight is so bad that I can't read that much anymore. But there is one book, that's this book, of course, Be More Pirate. And it's not about being a pirate, but it does show how advertising and marketing works, and how we need to take control back, and how we need to change how society is working. So it's an excellent book if you want to take charge of your own life. But again, as I said, I can't read that much anymore. And what I noticed with a lot of people, because they can't read as much as Renata is doing, they feel like they're lacking something or they're less intelligent or something. They're audiobooks. So if you can't read, don't worry. Take an audiobook, take a podcast, use YouTube. It's all fine. So
It's,
that's just, I just wanted
it's
to
like
put it out there.
Yeah, so I'm kind of adding on to what Annie said. It's like I said, the world is in your hands, and a lot of people are not even making use of it because there's audiobooks, there are podcasts, they're free. There are a lot of free options. One book I would recommend, because since everybody's showing book, I kind of go straight to the money. So make sure you understand your money, understand your debt, understand how you're going to build freedom, and just go behind it. It's a lot of, you can have a lot of great ideas, you can have take a lot of leaps and take a lot of steps, but if you're not going to have at least the financial freedom and the stability, it's going to stress you and overwhelm you. So you still want to think about your finance when taking a step to go into business. You're going to have to be doing taxes, you're going to have to be doing personal taxes, you're going to have to be separating finance. So think about your finance, keep that in mind, and make sure that you cannot even do that on the University of YouTube because that's also available.
They have a University of YouTube now?
I call YouTube University
Ah,
because anything you don't know, you can
true.
just go to YouTube and you're like, how do you do this or make this with, and
And
something
you're
pops up.
professional. Yeah, true.
Everything that I do, I practically learned from YouTube. When I was sitting in my wheelchair in my hospital bed, that's all I had. I mean, that was my world, because yeah, people work during the day, didn't have any visitors. So I learned how to set up my business there. I learned how to pitch. I learned how to do public speaking. I learned how to use Instagram better, and that's how I built a community with over 15,000 people worldwide. So YouTube is indeed a university. Very well said. There is another question here from Isis, or sorry, I keep saying Isis, but
That's
Isis.
fine.
I'm sorry, Miss Cornelis, if I say it wrong, but that's to Rianne. I would like to know from Rianne if she knows or have a suggestion of IT-related program to make use of when doing business analytics. That's something completely out of my zone. So I'm going to give that completely to
Look
you.
at her scratching her head too. She's like, what?
Yeah, no, I was just because I have so many questions then, to be honest. Because I'm then okay. What are you want to do with the analytics? What is the purpose? What is the information that you want to get out of it? What do you want it to be visualized, etc., etc. So there's so many questions that I would like to know. Basically, I would go into, and maybe Diana, you as well, into what are the requirements. What are no, but in a sense, the first thing that comes to mind is Power BI. So nowadays, what I see is that a lot of companies, the bigger companies, are moving to Microsoft Power BI. That's a business intelligence tool. You can use that to get more value out of your data, but you can also use to visualize charts, graphs, etc., etc. You can connect it to your IT systems, but you can also connect it to an Excel or a SharePoint, basically. But yeah, if you want to know more, because otherwise I'm getting too technical in this call, just connect with me via LinkedIn or whatsoever, and we can have a further discussion about that.
Yeah, certain topics are really niche topics, which are difficult to follow, but I'm sure there are more people in there that would like to know. I got a comment from someone that my chair is making squeaky noises. I still have issues with, I had a chair, but that doesn't support my back very well. So I got this chair. This one doesn't support my back very well, and it does make noises. That's it will all come in the future. We started Innovation C a couple of months ago, and it was very unexpected. Just as COVID-19 pandemic came to Curaçao, and when the lockdown started, we started with remote and thriving. I had no clue about doing webinars. I've seen a couple, but not to organize them. And here we are 8 later. I mean, this is all, Luc came with this idea in 2018. We did a conference at Chobolobo, which was awesome. We had 125 people attending. After that, he went back to Holland to study, and we sort of lost contact, but we kept in touch. Like when he started talking about doing another one, I was immediately like, okay, I'm there. Didn't go through because he was too busy. He set up Caribbean Blockchain Network and some other cryptocurrency things that I have no clue about. In the last couple of months, I learned so much about that. I learned so much about working with project management with Asana, Trello, set up my whole separate business that I have, Recycle Power, really reframed that within a project management, started coaching new clients, all because of this Innovation C. So everything is pretty new and pretty in development. We are becoming a foundation soon. And in the foundation right now is Luc Weber. He's going to be the master of coin. What's it called again? The penningmeester. Stacy McDonald, who's going to be the secretary, and I'm going to be the president, but those are all titles. We're going to work a little bit like a holacracy. That means like people like Renata, like Vanessa, like Rianne, and Diana can all be part of Innovation C and have their own specialty within Innovation C. And from there on, we hope to create a talent pool where we all can be involved in. So I shared already the links to our social media pages. Please join us there to stay updated to everything that we're doing. For example, Renata already said, I'm too busy to do so much, but I do want to be part, like being a co-host, or when there is something specific, let me know if I can help with that. And in that way, we can help each other and support each other. Rianne and Diana both came to the core team of Innovation C that's really going to help us set up the whole structure of the foundation. And so with that being said, this is all very new and we're all learning. So please be part of it. Sander already asked questions on Facebook, how we can be part of it. If you have any questions, please connect with us on Facebook or on LinkedIn, or you can send me a message at andy@innovationcure.com, and I'll reply as soon as possible. I see Vanessa replied also to the books, The 4 Agreements of Don Ruiz. I mean, that's just a master book. That's like, that's one of my Bibles. So I love that answer. I love that answer.
Talking about the
can I
books
ask?
again. Oh, who's that?
That's me.
Oh, Rianne.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to give a shout out to Diana, because I always love to see fellow women in tech. Because at the beginning of my presentation, as I said, I'm an advocate for more diversity and inclusion in tech, and always happy to see more women in a sense. I'm just curious to see, Diana, what is your vision on a bit of more diversity and inclusion in tech? Because you also mentioned in your presentation is that, as you know, it's a male-dominated world. How do you see it, and how do you work with that, or not work with that?
How do I what I would advise a lot of people is like a lot of people see tech as to be really difficult. It's a lot of reading. It's a lot of people that think in process. They think in blocks. Women also have structured because one of the things that goes around in the air is like women are very like we think about too much and we don't have structure and to process information. And that's where the information technology comes in. That's where IT comes in to perspective. So you do have that strength. As a female, I believe that we automatically do have it when men have to study for it. Nothing against you, Andy. Don't take it personal. But when they have to study for it, we actually have the ability to multitask, have the ability to structure and process everything. So if you're thinking about going into IT, and IT doesn't have to mean that you have to be a developer, but you can also be someone that supports the group. You can also be the administrator, because a lot of IT guys, they actually don't even think in English. They think in ones and zeros, so they cannot talk to other people. And so, yes, they need someone that can communicate that
Yeah.
a language to human beings because they are like outer space, but in their own world. So if you're interested in it, in engineering and IT or whatever, male dominate or whatever it is, I would say, Queen, fix your crown and go into there. You don't have to be afraid of the guys because I still go in, I
Yes.
rock, and I still tell them like, hey, now we're gonna be talking business. So we're talking structure, we're talking all of that, plan, and then you guys can go and talk about your guys stuff. But I still you kind of have to you have to own it every single day. Every day you get up, you fix that crown, and you just go in for it. Whatever the young girls, a lot of young girls are thinking like also it's like a boring subject. It's actually very interesting. And it will help you understand so much of yourself, so much of your mindset, so much of your way of thinking that it is in your culture. So the information processing part of IT, that is just in our genes. So now you just have to kind of become your own expert in it and just go for it.
Yeah.
There is
I fully second that.
there is a TED talk. I'm trying to figure out the name so I can share it with you. She is I believe the COO of Facebook. Sheryl Sandberg or something. You should definitely see her TED talk. The first time I talked to Diana, I could already feel the power that she's bringing, but she's also very humble and very gentle. And I can easily see
It's the
how
Trinidadian in me.
some dude will just walk over there. So and I think it's very important to tell women it's fully okay to own yourself and not be afraid to step up to the plate and tell a dude like, hey dude, sit down, this is my moment.
Even when the guys are taller than you, because a lot of people don't even know I'm actually short. I let
I'm looking for the TED talk from yes. Why we have too few women leaders. I'm gonna share that in the chat, please. Oh,
and
please
one thing
take
I
a
want
look at
to
it.
add, because a lot of people also don't they when women become mothers, becomes wives, become when they're daughters and friends, we have so much more responsibility. As a young mom, I had my daughter when I was 19. I was in HAVO when I had my daughter. My daughter is actually 18 right now, and she is in the university studying law. So I really want to just use this time to kind of encourage, no matter your background, no matter your experience, no matter the stuff you went through, no matter female or too feminine or whatever, if you want to do something, put your mind into it, put your time into it, plan, organize, and structure for yourself, and just be willing to do the work. There are going to be like stumbles on the road at your path, but that's your path and your end. Always think about the end results, what you want to achieve, and no matter where the bus stops, even if it's just a pause for you to get off or use the bathroom where there's trouble, but you come back on and you keep on to your journey. You come back onto that bus and you keep on to your journey because you know where you're going. So as a woman, a young mom, I'm actually also the first in my family to actually go out of Trinidad, just like jump out of the box to take that leap. It's like living experience, living, how do you say it? Live an example.
Experimenting.
Just go for it.
Diana, I like
Super
how you
proud of
said
you.
that. Yeah, I like how you said that even if there's some hurdles or if the bus stops, see it as a pit stop, see it as a bathroom
Yes.
break.
When you
I'm
get
gonna
your
use that
flat
one.
tire, you come out,
Yeah,
change the tire. It's gonna be a little bit of noise, but just remember, change the tire, you get back onto your bus, and you have a journey in front of you. Keep on going, girl.
definitely agree. Thanks for that. I like it.
You're welcome.
I love it. I think that's an advice we all need to follow more. I focus a lot on the personal development part of people, the brain, the psyche, on where we get stuck, and it's indeed that I need to change the tire, and because of that, people give up. But if you change the tire and you continue with the journey, you're gonna do it with so much more swing, so much more enjoyment because you managed to do that. I mean, the lady down there, Vanessa, is a good example. When she had to quit her job with at the court, I know she had some struggles with that because it is some safety you're going to leave behind, and you know you're going to get judged, and especially for doing what she does, and choosing her soup at nest for a while to reconfigure her brain what she wants to do in the future, and look at her now. We all have these journeys to take to keep that bus rolling, but I especially, being the partner of a single mother, I commend you, Diana, because I know it's not easy, and you're doing it, and not just one, but two kids, and there's so much going on with your son as well. So I'm super proud of you. I'm super happy that to have you on the team. And as I said, the first start with you already. I want you on Innovation C. You're not getting off this bus anymore. So
This is for life.
yeah. Well, we're almost at the end of our time. If there are any questions, please drop them now so we can do them. If Rianne, if you still have something you want to say, this is your chance, your final note.
No, I'm just thinking. I think I have said already quite a lot, and of course during the presentation. But no, I already saw some LinkedIn connections coming in. So really looking forward to connecting with all of you and see, as Andy mentioned, how we can create synergy together with all of the ideas that we have. And as I mentioned, my mission is unlocking the value of the various ideas that are out there. So that's it.
Rihanna, I know maybe some people don't know. Do you want to share when you'll be in Curacao? I don't know if we said that out loud.
Um, No, but I will be arriving next or upcoming Saturday.
So maybe if people are interested in
Yeah.
talking to you,
Go to the
anything,
airport.
yeah,
No,
kill me
not yet.
there,
The
give
flight
me
will be
their
very
suspense.
long. Yeah. No, the flight will be very long, 11 and a half hours. It will make a stop at Aruba, but as of Monday, the 6th of July, I'm fresh. I'm available for get to know yous. I'm available for appointments. Just hit me up on one of the social media channels.
No, no, no. Me first, then the rest.
Oh, sorry, Andy. You first, indeed. But the rest,
You can
just connect with
follow.
me and looking forward. And the rest can follow, indeed.
I'm
You
also
can
planning
contact me
on
if you want to talk to Rianne.
I'm also planning on coming to Curacao. So I'll be on Curacao on the 23rd of August. So next month.
Oh, yeah.
So I would love to see you. Oh, it's so fun to talk to people online and then think you already kind of know them, you're familiar with them. It already feels so good. But then you think, oh, I have never seen them. I only see faces and maybe shoulders. That is about it. But I'm looking forward to seeing you all in person.
I think we need to do a
Definitely.
mini soup at Nest just for
Just for that.
yeah,
Indeed, I like that
for the
idea.
Innovation C crew.
That would
Vanessa,
be
any
nice.
last
They
words?
muted me, so let me unmute myself. But
Yes,
yes,
please.
that sounds like a plan. I would love
It's
to, actually.
That would be nice.
this is your
But now
your last moment.
we're making the audience jealous, huh? What you guys are doing right now. But okay.
That's good. We get to brag later how good the soup was. So the next time you're gonna do a big boy palu soup at Nest, we'll have plenty of people buying your soups.
All right.
Do you have any famous last words?
Actually, to be honest, I'm kind of empty at the moment. If I say something right now, I'm just gonna say something that I might regret afterwards. I'm very happy with this. I'm very grateful. This was my first time that I did such thing. So I'm sucking it all up. My nerves are calming down right now. I can feel my sweat. I can smell myself. So that's where I'm at
Very
right now. I
honest.
don't. And yeah, and actually, when Diana was talking, the sentence that came up is "keep your eyes on the prize." So maybe that is a
Yes.
quote that I can finish with.
Awesome. Diana, any famous last words from you?
No, I just added my 2 cents to it all.
Okay,
So,
cool. Then I'm gonna close up with two notes. One, we opened a PayPal account for everyone that wants to support Innovation C. It's innovationcure@gmail.com. You can support us through there. In the future, we'll have more options. But yeah, I mean, so far, Luke and I have done this all pro bono. Luke has paid for everything from his own pocket. So if you want to support with anything, if you support for $100 or more, you'll get a slide during the next conference as well, or during the next conferences. So that's also an option. If you're interested, you can hit me up at andy@innovationcure.com or hi@innovationcure.com. And then someone asked already, the PayPal is innovationcure@gmail.com. Innovation Cure with the C of Curaçao, of course, at Gmail with a G from gangster.com. And then for an announcement for the next one, thank you, Diana. For the next one is in 2 weeks, and that's going to be Hope from a Rock with my brother from another mother, Mr. Alton Paas from Fundación Alton Paas. We're going to have the marketing manager from Corendon hotels that are just opening up, I believe, today. He's going to make some time to be available, which is pretty stressful for him. But Mr. Perry Gentile, I'm very much looking forward to seeing him. Miguel, and another very interesting person, Jason Obispo, who is part of the whole Palimangal Mondi that's being built all around the Corendon Hotel. So it's going to be an all Otobanda club in 2 weeks' time. So with that being said, I hope to see you there as well. Ladies, Rianne, Renate, Vanessa, Diana, that has been truly an honor, my pleasure to be part of this whole full lady club. And I hope I was not too masculine. And I would say I hope to see you in any conference back again soon.
thank you, Andy.
So
Sounds like a
much.
plan.
Thank you. Definitely.
To all participants in the chat, thank you very much for participating. Thank you all for being so considerate with everything. And again, hit us up on Facebook, LinkedIn, and we'll connect over there. I'm gonna end this webinar right now and kick us all off stage. Have a great
Thank
evening.
you. Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.